Love Your Kitchen, Designing the Heart of the Home, proudly sponsored by Blum, the podcast where we explore the art of crafting your dream kitchen. I'm your host, Faye Newman, a freelance kitchen designer with a passion for creating spaces that truly reflect the heart of the home. So let's now talk about how you choose the right supplier for your kitchen projects. There are so many companies out there that can help you supply your kitchen, from the large well-known retailers and builders merchants to the independent showrooms or bespoke handmade companies. All play their part and all of them have different benefits and processes. So the factors I would look out for is to ensure you are happy with the quality of the furniture. This may seem like quite an obvious choice, but sometimes the excitement of looking at all the different styles and gadgets available can deter you from the actual cabinetry itself, which is the building blocks of your kitchen. Take a look at its construction. Is it fully assembled or flat pack? Is there a solid back panel, or is it thinner than the rest of the cabinet? If it's thinner, sometimes when you pop a dinner plate in there, it decides to pop out, which you obviously don't want for your new kitchen. These are really important factors to look out for. How robust is the shelf edging? 2mm melamine edging is industry standard. Some suppliers also tongue and groove sort of a solid piece of wood over the top of that, and this is just to prevent any chipping when you're getting plates, mugs, etc. out of there. So again, the edging is just as important as the rest of the construction too. There are several different choices of materials to make your kitchen cabinets out of. Some do plywood, some do veneered internals, some use MFC and then have almost like a formica or an egger board over the top of it. Ask where they source their cabinets. Are they made in the UK, and what materials are they made out of? Cabinets are made out of lots of different materials. They could be made out of MDF. They could be made out of plywood. They could have a veneered covering on them, so an oak veneer of some sort or walnut veneer. Double check what theirs will be made out of and make sure that you're happy with that. Sometimes with the veneered cabinets, it's better just to use those for the more decorative pieces of furniture, and then have your industry standard melamine interiors, internals or egger board interiors for your main sections, purely because that'll be more robust and more durable as you're using your kitchen. These considerations will take your kitchen from just enjoying it during the honeymoon stage, when you're showing off to all your wonderful friends and family, to creating a forever kitchen. So another important point to choosing your supplier will be, it's good to not feel rushed or pressured to make a decision. So renovations are stressful enough, and there are certain time constraints to work to. However, if you get your designer on board as early as possible, hopefully they can guide you through the process and those decisions and choices, so you're not feeling pressured just to make them all in one go. Focus on working with a supplier that wants to understand your project's needs and wants to help you with your design process. As a designer myself, I've been designing for many years now. That is my favourite part. So wanting to help clients create the kitchen of their dreams and offer suitable ranges and suggestions in order for them to achieve that. Similar to the aesthetics taken away from the quality of the cabinet furniture, be mindful if the process deters from the design and more down to project timeframes and supply lead times, especially during the early stages of your project. Price, of course, is also a deciding factor too. So I am somewhat biased because I've been working mainly in the independent sector over the years, but do your research, visit the showroom, see what options are out there, and choose a supplier that you feel the most comfortable with. Today I am in Worcester at Algar Kitchen speaking with Alexandra, who is a regional sales manager for XTONE Worksurfaces. Our focus for today will be to learn more about the material, the benefits from having a ceramic worktop, and also how versatile this type of work surface really is. So Alex, just talk to us a little bit more then about how you found yourself sort of working for XTONE.
Hi there, thank you for inviting me. Well, I've been working with the company for 4 years and 3 months now, so it's a lovely company to work for, and the industry quite exciting, I would say. And the reason for that is the versatility of the material we are offering and the sophistication of it, I would say.
Yeah.
So this product is called sintered stone. Some people call it ceramic or porcelain, but the actual name of it is sintered.
I've been saying it wrong all this time then.
That's all right. So sinterization is basically the high pressure, high temperature kilning process, but it doesn't reach the point of liquefaction. So it's a really interesting approach, and it's quite obviously the newest one on the market. As we know, life changes, things are improving, and I think it's a really good thing because of the technology basically and the innovation. So the product is versatile, and the reason for that is because it comes available in different sizes and different thicknesses. So it will be available in 6mm, 12 and 20. At the moment, well, we don't have any thicker than that, but who knows, maybe the market will change and they will bring some thicker worktops as well. This product is suitable for different applications. It can be used for wall cladding, like bathrooms or, feature walls. It can be used for vanity units, tabletops, kitchen worktops, can be used for dining tables, even fireplaces, TV units, bespoke coffee tables, console tables. So if someone would like to match their dining table to their kitchen worktop and even their bathroom, that's going to be a possibility. And that is because of having the same ranges in different sizes and thicknesses, as I mentioned previously.
I suppose as well, what works great is because obviously I saw an example of one of your tables at KBB, which looked beautiful. And you're absolutely right. If you absolutely love a stone and maybe that you don't want it sort of, or ceramic worktop, sorry, you don't want it all over the kitchen. You maybe just want it on the island or the splashback, but you can also tie it in with your dining room and sort of, things like that. Or if you're set on sort of a few of them and you can't decide, as you say, you can apply them in your bathroom for tiles if you want to. And also maybe mix and match the colours a little bit, just make it a little bit more interesting and add that sort of individual personality to each client's space. So I think that's really interesting. Am I right in thinking that they can be used outside as well?
Yes, so this product is suitable for facades or outdoor kitchens, for instance. So yes, you are totally right. And the reason for that is because it's UV resistant, frost resistant. It's a hygienical product. It's abrasion resistant. So it has loads of benefits. Obviously, every product has its own limitation. Yeah. But yes, you are right. Sorry to answer your question. I get carried away.
I'm loving it though. Very detailed. So the UV element then, just explain so presumably that will be that the colour won't fade over time and things like that. Is that the benefit of the UV?
Yes, exactly that. And also, even if you have a really light kitchen, if you have like a extended like a conversion and you have your kitchen worktop there and you have the lights coming in might fade the color. Yes. But this product, because of that reason, because it's UV resistant, that's not going to change. So once you've installed the worktop in your house, whether it's outside, outdoor or indoor, it's going to be exactly the same. So the color won't fade with time.
And even tiles as well, because I suppose when you have some sort of wooden flooring or things like that, or different types of flooring, sometimes that doesn't work well within those high heat environments, especially as you say for like a conservatory. If you've got lots of windows, it's like a hot box, isn't it, for these things. So it's great that they can withstand that sort of element of it. How can it withstand that then? So what is it in the material that makes it durable enough to be able to do that?
So when it comes, I'm going to speak in our behalf. When we are manufacturing XTONE, we only use natural minerals like clay, silica, feldspar. We don't use any resins or adhesives, anything like that. So we mix them all together. We grind them into a really fine powder. The finer the powder is, almost like flour, the more compact the surface would be. Yeah. So after we've done that, we are using a continuous press onto a conveyor belt, which means that's going to release the tension onto the side. Because what happened, this is like a large format tile. Some sort. So with a normal tile, when you're manufacturing that, it's one shot, one press, and that's it. You go to the next one, you go to the next one. But the larger the format is, the more tension that material will hold. Okay. So by using this continuous press onto a conveyor belt, by releasing the tension onto the side, it's going to be easier to cut.
Okay.
So that's what we do. We only use natural minerals. As I said, we grind them into really fine powder, and then we're using this continuous press. And then we are using the latest technology when it comes to printing. We penetrate the slab 0.5 deep, and then whether we want to achieve the marble look, the concrete, the wood effect, stone effect, we've got concrete. That's what we do. We penetrate the slabs and we achieve the desired pattern.
So I suppose the benefits from an aesthetics point of view with sort of a ceramic worktop similar to this, I know I haven't said the correct terminology, is that you get that consistent pattern as well. So you don't have to think, oh, I need to go. It's nice. It depends what sort of design and things you're thinking to do at home. Like if you want that timeless element and you like the idea of having a granite worktop and picking your own stone to do that, that's absolutely fine too. But I think what's nice about this is it's consistent. So if you want to sort of have book matched edges or anything like that, like it's very crisp and clean. So I think that's where for me the ceramic work surfaces like XTONE, for instance, really comes into its own. So let's talk about a few more of the benefits then. So obviously we've touched on the UV and the durability of it, but also the stain resistance and obviously the hygiene as well, which is a massive factors when you're, using a working kitchen or even for your floor and things. Obviously that's a germ fest, isn't it? So
Correct.
It's good that that's all the case for that. So how, again, is it viable for it to be stain resistant and things like that? Is it because it's printed, or as you say, is it because there's no resin within the worktop?
It's mainly because it's a non-porous surface, so it's waterproof, chemical resistant. So because of being a non-porous surface, basically it's not going to absorb any bacteria. So it doesn't release any volatile compounds like VOC, bacteria and fungi. So that's a really good. Imagine if you would have a microscope in your kitchen, you wouldn't want to know what's going on.
I can imagine you in your kitchen now, looking at everything, be like, this worktop isn't very hygienic, is it?
No, but this one is like you can cut straight on it, which is a great feature for the surface. So and also it doesn't need any sealing because of the nature of the way we are manufacturing the slabs.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, it's hygienic, heat resistant, frost resistant, UV resistant, waterproof. So it has loads of qualities. I would say yes. No. This is a non-porous surface, so the porosity is less than 0.05, which is quite impressive because it doesn't absorb any liquid.
Okay.
So if you was to spill wine, that's not going to absorb the liquid and it's not going to stain. That's the beauty of this material. If you drop anything on the surface or any turmeric or any chemical or acidic product that might do any harm to any other surface, with XTONE it won't do that. And the reason for that is because it's non-porous and the way we're manufacturing the slabs again. So that's I think it's a really good selling point when you're speaking to clients.
I mean, the kitchen is the most used room of the house, so I mean. And I think because kitchens are just such an investment, a lot of clients do really want to home in on the different materials that are being used. They want to make sure, obviously it looks great, but also that it's going to last. It's not just going to be, somebody said to me the other day about how we should design kitchens so that you just don't design it for like the honeymoon stage and then you start to see all these errors and things with it. You need to make sure that the longevity is there as well with it. And it seems that this product will help with the longevity and the durability overall. And as you say, a great feature is that you can chop directly onto them because of the hygienic element and how just tough the material is. So that I think that's a good selling point too.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't recommend using ceramic knives. So the only thing can scratch the surface, it will be a ceramic. And the reason for that is because it's the same product, pretty much. Yeah. So ceramic knife will scratch the surface. Any other knife is fine, and you can cut straight on the surface. That's not a problem. And the diamond ring. So ladies, they have to be careful with their diamond rings. I'm sure they are careful, but I'm just saying because that's what the fabricators are using when they are cutting the slabs, the diamond blades. So
so just be careful on that element as well.
Exactly.
And let's start talking about the actual differences in the finishes as well. So I know obviously you've got the matte finish, and then gloss, and did you say silk? So let's just talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, so we call the matte ones, we call them nature. Nature finish.
Oh my God.
So we have nature finish, polished, and silk. Okay. We have brought some new colors that they have a texture finish, which is great. It's more like a nut. Yeah, you can feel the texture on the slab, and it's good because it looks more realistic. So this is how far the advanced the technology is at the moment, which is absolutely great. So with regards to a polish finish, for instance, with a normal tile, you will add a layer on top. So you have the body, we call it, and then you add extra layers. So with a normal tile, we have you add the colors, the printing. You can have 3-4 layers, but with this material you don't. And the reason for that is because we are using that special ink. And then when it comes to achieving that polish finish, we use a 3-step mechanical process. So it's going to be almost like a buffer. First, it's going to scratch the surface. The second one is going to be softer, and the third one just to do the finishing touches. So then you achieve that lovely polish finish, which is going to kind of show the depth of the material, the color, and it's a little bit brighter rather than a nature or a silk finish, which is a little bit more subtle.
I didn't know that. So that's purely just from buffering the material as opposed to actually applying sort of another material onto it. So again, from a natural point of view, you are still keeping the basis of the nature, but then just applying different finishes or different processes, to create those different finishes. Yes,
exactly. So it's the same thing with a marble. So with a natural stone, they will do the same. They will polish the surface, so it brings up that. Yeah, it's the same principle basically.
Oh, amazing. And then colour-wise then, so obviously we've got, for everybody listening at home, we've got some beautiful samples in front of us here just showing those different finishes, but also colours as well. So you've got some that are really vibrant, marble colour with like the golden large veins going through. And I also see a wooden effect one as well. So do you want to talk a little bit more about what sort of colours and things are in at the moment and ones that you think work well in certain areas?
Basically, we've got the beauty of this material, again, is that you can achieve different colour ranges. So you can choose a marble that you absolutely love and you can print exactly that colour. Obviously, we won't be able to bring all the colours.
So you can have bespoke colours?
You can, like Blue Roma, the one that we have here, actually. We at the moment, we are the only ones on the market that have this.
Amazing.
So this is a quartzite, and we had quite a few requests when it comes to the natural stone, because we also have Altissima, which is the natural stone collection. So with XTONE, because we had such a big demand for that quartzite, and it can be tricky to cut it, then we decided to bring this beautiful color in XTONE. So it mimics almost the natural one. Obviously, it would never be exactly the same because it's a replica, but you can achieve very, very close.
So again, if you are going for sort of that more timeless traditional look, that would warrant that quite well because it looks a little bit more textured and it's marrying up with sort of like the age brass hardware, for instance, and things like that. So then that's where that will come into its own.
Yeah, well, in general, we wouldn't recommend marble, for instance, for kitchen worktop. So that's the beauty of this material. You can achieve the marble look, but don't have to worry about staining or using any acidic or anything like that on the surface. So as beautiful as marble is, it's not recommended to use it as a kitchen worktop. So that's why we come and we brought this. And who knows, maybe at some point in this world we will run out of natural stone, and then this is a man's made product that
you'll come in, you'll swoop in, XTONE will be there, like there's no other worktops available, so you have to choose us.
Everyone, I mean, there will be some other competitors obviously on the market, but everyone has different colors and ranges, so competition is healthy.
I've had clients in the past as well that's wanted that statement island, so wanted to go for that sort of quartzite on the island just to get that, as I say, to make it look different to the rest of the kitchen, things like that, and then maybe match the splashback with that, sort of tie that in. But this is where, as I mentioned before, this comes into its own again, where you can mix and match and you've still got the same level of consistency from a durability perspective, like throughout the whole kitchen, not just a decorative island, for instance, it's still a working island. So again, so I think that's where, obviously, and you can apply your build-ups and everything, which is very exciting. So
the one thing I have to mention, obviously, as we said, we can achieve the marble look. We've got marble look, we've got concrete colors effect, we've got metallic, wood effect, stone effect. So we have a variety of choices for clients. But one thing that I have to mention is that this product is not a full body through. It's only printed on the surface, which means if we was to go with a contemporary look for a kitchen worktop or even a dining table, if you use a 12 millimeter, then you will not have the edge. If it's a marble look where you have veins, that vein will not follow all the way through. So if someone is interested in having that chunkier edge detail, then the fabricators will have to cut the edges 45 degrees, so they will achieve a 90 degrees angle, and then they can build it up. It can be 20, 30, 40, 50, however thick the client would be interested in having their kitchen worktop, or if they want to have a downfall, obviously it can be done as well. However, it will be a bevel, which we must have, because that's gonna basically make the surface stronger when it comes to the edge.
I see. So you
resistant.
apply a small bevel on the edge just
exactly.
so if you sort of drop something on it, for instance, it's just getting rid of the sort of, I don't know what the word would be there.
It's just impact resistant. Exactly, because this is obviously, it looks like it's unfinished on the edges, right? So the fabricator will need to polish the edge, cut a 45-degree angle, kind of might do the miters, and then that's going to be impact resistant.
What would you say is the most popular thickness for using XTONE? Is it 30 mil to sort of replicate the natural stones like the quartz and things like that, or is it that everybody likes to choose to go for the really thin 12 mil?
It all depends on the client, to be honest. It's at the end is their choice. If someone is interested to go with the contemporary look, I think it looks really lovely and it's nice and it's straight and it looks more modern. However, if you have more like a traditional house and you prefer the traditional look, then they will go with a thicker edge detail. But that's ultimately going to impact the price and the cost of the worktop, because the fabricator will have to cut into the miters, so that's going to be a bit more expensive than just a normal contemporary look.
I think what looks nice on some designs as well is sort of when they waterfall them over just for the top of the cabinetry as well. So especially if you are looking to achieve that really contemporary look, so it looks almost like 200 mil, 150 mil high on a section, and it creates zones for on parts of the island and wherever you want to represent that space. I think that works really well as well. Have you got any projects to sort of show us, so we can obviously I'll pop these for the listeners at home. I'll pop these links into the show notes so you can get access to them, but it'd just be nice to show examples of the beauty of the work surface and how other clients have used it in their homes.
So this is, for instance, obviously a kitchen worktop, and they've done the build up. I think that's 80. But that was just because that's what they wanted to have. And also they had a few extra bits from the slab, so they've decided to use that for the TV unit, which it makes sense because you want to kind of make the most usage of the slab.
When you buy any sort of solid surface, you have to pay for, or you buy them in slabs, so you may as well use all of the slab, because actually the manufacturing cost of, say, like the the cutting and the polishing of the edges and things is minimal. It's mainly the actual cost of the material and the template and fitting, which is already in with your costs. So if you've got some left over, you're absolutely right, use it to put on top of a vanity cabinet, maybe in a bathroom, behind the TV, like you have done here, to create like a media wall, or splashbacks and things like that. It's something to think of. So I'd always say that's quite a good benefit, or a good thing to think of when you are looking at a solid surface as well.
So this is one of the marble look, for instance, and in here, as you can see, the fabricator have cut the slab, so they have the sink run, and also the sink is going to be on the other right side, and also they've done the backsplash, and then this is built up to 25
so is
roughly.
That book matched there then, so that carries on all the way through, or have they tried to do
like
it
continuous?
Okay.
So it flows. Obviously with a continuous pattern, it will always be a slight variation. But that's the same thing with a natural stone, because natural stone, for instance, it's unique, right? So every slab would be totally different. So even for a book match, it won't be perfectly aligned. It will be a slight, but then no one wants to be that perfect. Like, a little bit of variation, it's acceptable. In here, we've got another project, and in this instance, we've used XTONE on the flooring.
Okay.
We have a bespoke bar And we've used two different colors that usually you would not put them together, but actually looks really lovely.
Yeah.
So that's the Machina Black, and that's Paonazzo Biondo in between. We've cladded the walls with some other slabs. So yeah, it just to show a few different applications.
It's like a humbug. Do you know what a humbug is? The boiled sweet, the black and white sweet. I'm sure they're called humbugs. That's what that's just reminding me of. Oh, this looks cool. I like this one.
Yeah, so that's again the Paonazzo Biondo. So because again of the versatility of the product, we've used a 6mm to clad the cabinets.
Yeah.
Obviously you have to have the right frame. It could be like a metallic frame, and it can be just an MDF just to close it down. And then we recommend adding an extra hinge just to hold the weight of the material. Yes.
Yeah. So you can actually have them for the door fascias as well if you want to.
Yes.
Amazing.
You can even clad the staircases if you wish.
Yeah.
Benches and different applications.
That's good to know, because I suppose if you're trying to have some sort of hidden storage or whatnot, but you love the look of the sort of the waterfall edges and things on the back of a peninsula or an island, as we'd mentioned before, like that's where again that works really well. So that's good to know.
Yeah, that's why in here, for instance, as I mentioned to you, we've cladded so we've got the flooring, the bespoke bar unit.
Is that the wood effect as well there?
Yes, we have the wood effect as well, indeed, yes.
Oh, amazing. So what colours do you have in the wood effect as well? Like how many different variations do you have of that?
Just 3 at the moment. But some of them, they will be available just in 6mm, and we have one that's available in 12.
Okay.
So that's the one that it would Camel, it's available for Worktop as well.
Yeah.
Because some people prefer the wood. Obviously, the wood effect, which is absolutely amazing, and it's warm and it brings some sort of warmth, I would say, in the house when you mix it with wood, because it's natural. But we wouldn't recommend that for Worktop because if you have any water, or even if you do your dishes, it's gonna get stained all over, isn't it? So that's the beauty of this product. You can achieve that wood effect, but you don't have to worry about any stains.
I suppose as well, because obviously this will be colder to stand on than say if you were to have like a wooden flooring, but if you've got sort of underfloor heating and things like that as well, that would work.
Yes, yeah. We have a few exciting new colors coming up, so they will be produced beginning of summer, and then we will have a few more choices when it comes to some marbles and wood effect.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, I think I'll make sure to keep you updated.
How does XTONE then in general, like how do they keep up with the trends? Because obviously, as you say, they're a very innovative brand. You're constantly looking at new ways to achieve different things. But how do you keep up with all the trends that are sort of happening with kitchens?
Every market is slightly different, but this is an international brand. So, for instance, in even Europe and America, they are using the 6mm more. So it's a matter of, we kind of look at the trends that are coming out and what the demand are. So in this instance, with the Blue Roma, we kind of had in UK, we had a request for this. And then we obviously, if we see that the people are interested in a certain color or pattern, then we look into which ones are the best, and we try to differentiate ourselves from the competitors, because you don't want to have the same color ranges, and you try to do something different. So we have some beautiful classic marble looks, but we also have some really bold, almost like a statement, and just something different to offer. So I think we have to obviously look at the market and the trend, and then we decide what's best, and we just bring it over basically.
What's your favorite color then? I know that, so you probably get asked that quite often.
I would say it's hard to choose, because obviously depending on the color scheme, and I think it. Maybe Paonazzo Biondo, Calacata Green. Those ones are one of my or even one of the white classic marble, the Gulem white, which is quite nice because it's quite subtle. Yeah. But it depends. I mean, it's I don't know. It's hard to choose.
Preference. No, you're absolutely
exactly,
right.
Yeah.
There's so many different choices out there, isn't there? And I think Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I love that sort of the larger vein. I really like the orange tones coming through on some of the marbles as well. I think that looks beautiful. But again, that's my personal taste from that point of view.
I've seen lovely projects done with Paunat, or I've seen gorgeous ones done with Calacata Green or Blue Roma. It's just, it's hard to say which one is the best because I've seen loads, so many. It's just I can't decide.
I think this is where it's difficult for us, isn't it? Because me designing my own kitchen, we know all of the options, and this would be the same for you. So you know all of the work surface choices out there, and it would depend on the house that you're in, obviously the layout, that sort of thing, which warrants what material and what colours and things would go with that. But yeah, it's always difficult. I think it's almost harder for us because we know all of the options out there. It's always hard to choose.
Yeah, just to narrow it down and just decide. I think you have to decide, actually seeing this colour for the next 10 years in my kitchen, because average every 5 or 10 years people are changing their kitchens, isn't it? So yeah, you have to decide, actually, can I cope with seeing the same colour for so many years, or you want to change it every so often. So
I always say go with like the one that you see and you have that feeling for, that you just absolutely love. Like clients like, oh no, I can't be brave enough to go for that, for instance. But you find, as you say, you're with this, you're having your kitchen for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So you need to make sure that you have every element of it. So if you absolutely love that kitchen, or that work surface, or that colour, don't second guess it. It's your kitchen at the end of the day.
Yes.
That's a good way of looking at it.
And everyone is different, so obviously it has to match your personality.
Yeah,
I've seen gorgeous, as I said, gorgeous kitchens with the Calacata green. So in the right setting, it looks like a statement piece, So yeah, that's the thing.
I suppose if you're layering up neutrals and things like that, and you've got quite a muted tone throughout the whole scheme, that's where that would come into its element, sort of, and then that's where the greens will be picked out on the marble and the marble effect and things like that.
Yeah, or some people prefer the darker color. Like we have the Liam Grey collection. We've got Liam Dark, Liam Grey, Liam Black, which are darker marble looks. So some people prefer that, and it's a really elegant and classic kind of look. But everyone is different. So
everyone is different. This is true. From a sustainability point of view, then, because I know obviously we're all thinking about sustainability now, reducing our carbon footprint and everything. It's very important for everybody to be forward thinking, especially a big company like XTONE. What have you guys putting in place in order from a sustainability point of view?
So this is an eco-friendly product, and because XTONE is part of Porcelanosa Group, obviously they are specialized with tires, and obviously we now have the latest factory and we are manufacturing XTONE. When they are manufacturing the slabs, they're using this eco-friendly manufacturing process with all the machinery that they are using in the factory. So that would be one of them. And also this material is recyclable. So for the ranges that they are discontinued, we can recycle them.
And even the ink that you use as well, has that all been considered?
Not necessarily the ink, it's more the dyeing, the drying, the slabs, so all the manufacturing process itself with the water recycling, so saves the energy, and that's more when it comes to sustainability and eco-friendly product, basically. Okay. So the way we are manufacturing the slabs itself, that's eco-friendly.
Yeah, as much as it can be.
Yes.
Obviously working sort of heavy machinery and things like that. And just as a personal sort of preference for me, I love the glossy finishes. So I just wanted to check as well for the listeners at home, is that scratch resistant as well?
So we would say the nature is more polish finish, actually. It's more likely to get scratched than the nature. It's not an indestructible material because it's a man's made, but it is scratch resistant, definitely. So it's a matter of preference. And I think you'd be surprised, but we do have quite a big demand when it comes to polish finishes for kitchen worktops. I think people prefer the look of it, perhaps. Yeah. But yeah, it's maybe in a certain light, or if you get a little bit of it can be you can notice some scratches with time, I'm saying. Yeah. But it's, as I said, as long as they don't they use the common sense and you don't use a ceramic knife on the surface, it should not be any.
Be okay.
Yeah.
Just to sort of go right back then to how XTONE came about, Do you want to talk a little bit about the history?
Our competitors brought a product on the market, it was nearly 10 years ago, I think. So Porcelanosa being in the industry for 50 years. Last year, actually, they had their 50 years anniversary.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. So it's a private company owned, and obviously they are having beautiful tiles, and because they have this expertise and knowledge about the tiles, when this product came on the market, they decided, why wouldn't we do that? We already have the basis of manufacturing tiles, so they decided to bring the larger format slabs, and they've kind of educated themselves, and then they opened a XTONE factory. So with slab sizes are 160 by 320, which is a large format slab, and I think it's a lovely product, and perhaps the market will, I think it's already changing, but in the future it's getting, and you can see also the trend is getting more and more popular, and I think it's because of the versatility and sophistications of the colors, I would say, and the nature of the material.
So to finalise then, for everybody listening, how can they find out more about XTONE and to see whether it's right for their...
So everyone obviously can access and can have a look on our website, but most designers and studios will be able to guide you into trying to find the right product that's suitable for you. So I would say, probably a kitchen studio or a designer that knows the nature of the material. They'll be able to give you the best expertise.
So I know that you mentioned previously about how, you can opt for the thinner worktops as well. So I suppose from a price point of view, that's a better option to go for than, say, like all the build-ups and things like that. So if I've got a client that loves your work surfaces, but they're mindful of overall costs, how would you say manage that from a style perspective? Like, do you have certain price points for them, or?
We've got 6 price groups. So obviously it varies in colors and finishes. So we've got a cheaper, if we start from group 0, which is the cheapest one, and we go up to the group 6, which is the most expensive. But ultimately, the fabricator will have to do the cuttings, and obviously they have to trim the edges to cut the tension, and then cut the slabs based on the project they are trying to finalize. So that's going to be ultimate to the project.
The different price groups is the more detail that's involved, and sort of the more production that's involved from your side of things is what's warranted in the different price groups. Like, that's how you've differentiated between all 6, you said.
So we've got the maybe the concrete effect, and maybe the a few of the colors that they are more like matte finish, like the nature one we have, and then obviously the polished ones will be slightly more expensive, and the reason for that is because the way we're manufacturing, and we're using that 3-step mechanical process, so it involves a little bit more work into it, and then the most detailed and the latest colors, they will be the most expensive. It's because of the different colors, mixtures,
of course,
and
the detail and things like that.
Exactly.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you very much for joining me today. We've done well.
No problem. You're more than welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Love Your Kitchen, Designing the Heart of the Home, brought to you by Blum, the podcast where we explore the art of crafting your dream kitchen. If you have any questions you'd like answering on the podcast, or want to find out more about how I can help you, then please visit fayenewmandesign.com. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video today. If you have liked what we have spoken about, why not like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, what you can do is click on the notification bell to keep yourself notified of all the new content to come.